Hey guys and girls, it's Ken here from OKportugal. We are on our farm between Fundão and Castelo Branco. It's the 25th of May 2021. It's 27 degrees today, and by the end of the week it's going up to 34. So it's an absolutely stunning day. I started the day by doing a whole bunch of mowing and basically getting all of the grasses around our house all nice and neat, and well, so they don't get too long for the fire season. Anyway, I thought today I'll take you for a little stroll around the farm, because I haven't really done a farm tour in a while, and as you can see behind me here, a lot of stuff has changed. So first off, we've made ourselves a nice little outdoor chill out area here, and we have our barbecue and we have some seating. It gets quite a bit of shade underneath this loquat tree, and Gina's lady garden, which you saw us building in a previous episode, is looking really good. It is very overgrown, there are some weeds in it, but we're just trying to figure out which parts are weeds and which parts are the seeds. But it's still looking pretty good, you know, it's looking great. Gina's hung up some of these little lanterns up here that are LED, and they shine up at night time, and it's looking pretty good. And as you may have noticed from our previous episodes, the pool is up and running. Please excuse the little bit of mess here. I moved these chairs out the way while I was mowing. But yeah, Nick finished rendering all of these, and Gina's painted them all up. So we have all of our steps going up, and all of our seats in all the corners. It's all beautifully painted. And over there at the moment I'm using a koi pond pump. It's a very strong one from Germany, and it runs really well, so I'm just using that just to circulate the water so it doesn't get stagnant. But it's looking really good, and as you can see, all of the leaves are starting to grow on the vines here on the pergola. And speaking of vines, our vineyard is looking great. They've all got leaves. There was a whole bunch of flowers that are now starting to turn into grapes. And yeah, the only thing that's going to need to happen here is we're going to come through and rotivate all of the soil. Just basically mulch all of the weeds into the soil there. And yeah, so it will look a little bit neater. But until that job's done, let's see what else we have on the go. I've given it a really nice mow just around the house area, so it almost looks like a lawn. Not too sure how long that's going to last for, but yeah. Oh, Gina's got a whole bunch of sunflowers growing here, so I can't wait until those pop up. And speaking of Gina, she's giving her car a wash. This doesn't happen often. This is like a once a year affair. And then there's another addition that we've got. I don't know if you guys know about our terrible fly problem last year. But we've got one of these traps now. It's called a red top, and they're sort of commercial fly traps. Now I believe they take a while before they activate. The more flies you catch, the more effective they get, and you should really hang them in the sun. But yeah, basically I just set it up yesterday. I've got high hopes for it. Here's old Mimo. So yeah, so not much has changed down here. We still have our chicken coop in here, which is all lockable, and we have our sort of main storeroom over here with tools and stuff in. And then we have our big old barn down here. This is quite a big room with a big sliding door. It's in a big mess. But yeah, we've got some odds and ends in here and a huge old hay bale. This room's going to get tidied out at some point because it's going to be a really nice sort of chill out area. Like when you're in it and you look out over like the forest and the fields, it'll be a really nice place to you know, to turn into like another room really. So yeah, you can see all of our trees looking good. The persimmon, the walnut tree, and we got some citrus trees, the cherry tree. Yeah, we didn't get cherries off this one. There are some cherries on this tree, but the birds kind of get them before us, and these ones haven't really quite ripened up yet. So yeah, we're getting there. And then these are all of the little trees that we planted, all of the little fruit trees. So we've got I don't even know what this one was, like a nectarine lemon tree. We got Stanley's plums over there. Hey Stanley. And yeah, and then all of the fields here which have been cut back and turned into hay bales. Check out our previous episode if you want to see that. So I'm going to walk along to where our dam is over here. And let's have a look. Oh, here we go. Just before we do that, got one of our little chickens. Well, a couple of little chickens in here, just free ranging. Now I left all the grasses quite long underneath these trees so the chickens have places to hide. And let's carry on further and see what we can see. Oh, it looks like we've got a bunch of pomegranates happening on this tree. Here we go, pomegranates. A whole stack of them. Nice. Last year we didn't really get very many, but we did also have some harsh storms. So we got quite a few of these fig trees, and they're huge. Now they do need a prune. I wasn't quite sure how to prune them, but I'll get some advice for next season for when it's ready to prune. And it's absolutely covered in figs. Huge ones. Okay, so I'm wearing not really quite the right stuff to get down here, but this is our dam. So bear with me while I try and get down here and not kill myself. It's quite slippery, especially in flip-flops. Yep, we've got lots of frogs jumping around in here. What's that, Mimo? Now, there's quite a lot of debris that's fallen in. All of these willows that are growing on the side here, I believe they're called pussy willows, and they were covered in catkins and pollen, and all of that pollen's fallen in here. Oh, that's amazing. I'm just looking over here and I don't know if you can pick it up. There's a whole bunch of goldfish. Now I put 10 goldfish in here last year and they just multiplied into hundreds. And now we can actually see them swimming through the pond. That's brilliant. If you're new to the channel, this is a 30-meter long by 6.5 meter deep almost like a water mine, really. They've just dug like a cheese wedge into the ground. There's some springs at the back and they just fill up the whole thing. So yeah, we just got tons of water. And even in the summer, it only goes down maybe a meter or so, meter and a half, and we've still got about another 4 or 5 meters left. So massive amount of water. But yeah, it's a nice place to come. Even when it's really windy up top, when you walk down into this area, you're completely sheltered. And it's nice and peaceful and pretty. Right, let's get back up and continue the tour. And see how different the farm looks. Okay, so we're back up top now. You can see all of the grasses have now been cut. So, let me just explain how all of this works. We have a neighbor who lives just over there. His name's Joaquin, and he's a lovely guy. He's a farmer and he has a dairy farm. And so he has a whole bunch of dairy sheep and they need tons of food. They're basically eating machines. So he rents a whole bunch of land around the area and owns a whole bunch of land and obviously puts his sheep on there. Come summertime, it gets so hot that everything just dries out and you just can't grow grass anymore unless you were to use a ridiculous amount of water. And so what we've done this year is we've basically grown a whole bunch of grass in our field and he's baled it all up. So if you watch our previous video, you can see that he's baled all of the grass. That's going to become his sheep's summer food. And in return for that, he basically gives us a hand with a whole bunch of stuff. So he's got tractors, he's got all of the tools, he's got all the knowledge. So that's kind of where the relationship is with us. It's he helps us out. Obviously, we've got grass and stuff that he needs, and they're just absolutely lovely, wonderful people. So, if people want to know why we're giving our grass away, it's a trade. It's a symbiotic trade, and I believe that it works quite well. So anyway, back on the tour. We've got some unhealthy trees on this side. We've got 2 loquat trees, and they've got some kind of a fungus. Now, they've had this from last year. And at first I thought that they had been burnt or something, but actually this is a fungus. And the way that you get rid of it is with a copper solution called Bordeaux solution. It's supposedly organic, because I guess copper is an organic compound, but it's very toxic for you know, aquatic organisms and stuff. So you don't really want to get that in, like going anywhere near water, so you don't want to do it near dams or anything like that. But on the trees here, it should be all right, as long as you don't do massive concentrations. So yeah, so you can see what it does to the fruit. This fungus basically ruins the loquat fruit. Now that one actually looks all right. No, it's still a bit damaged. So yeah, so in spring, or at the end of the growing season, and at the beginning of the growing season, you spray it with this Bordeaux solution, and it'll take care of, well, it'll take care of that hopefully. So yeah, and as you can see, this lemon tree is also not happy. Okay, so let's head on down this way. We've got kind of a dividing row here. Now this divides from the front field where like the road is. We've got a whole bunch of vines on there, and these are our eating grapes, and they're really tasty. They're much bigger. They're like a rose color, so they're not red, they're not white, and they go all along here. And we have various other fruit trees. I'm actually not even sure what they are. We have a big old cherry tree. So yeah, let's go onto our front field, and you can see this has all been harvested. It's not particularly attractive right now. It's a real shame, you know, because we do miss those flowers, but if they don't get cut, they're just going to turn into this, and you drop a spark into that, and you've got a, you know, you've got a big fire on your hands. So it's a good thing that this has all been cut. They will grow back next year. We'll have tons of plants and flowers and things again. All of those seeds are going to get ploughed into the soil. All of this matter is going to get ploughed into the soil. It's going to get mixed up with, you know, sheep manure and stuff like that. And yeah, and then next year it'll all pop back up again. Oh, in the very corner here next to the road, we have a big almond tree. And then we have a big fig tree just over there. And yeah, what is this one? This looks like apples. Yeah, looks like apples. There's an apple tree. Nice, I didn't even know we had an apple tree. Right, so this is our well, or our agricultural well, which is for irrigation and watering and stuff. We've never actually used it. Oh, if you look in the corner, there's big fish down there, look. I hope this camera picks them up. There's two of them. There's also a giant frog. So yeah, there's huge fish living in here. When I say huge, they're probably about 8 to 10 inches. We've got frogs. I mean, look, there's another one down there. And yeah, this is just a huge amount of water. It goes down about 7 meters. It's quite clean and clear normally, but at the moment it's got a lot of pollen on it. The high water mark during winter was about there, that grey brick. So it's dropped about, I would say, just over half a meter. Now in summer it's going to drop down about 1.5 meters, leaving us with about, I would say, 5.5 meters of water. So it's a lot. You can also pump it out, and shortly after it'll fill itself back up again. And that's even in summer, so plenty of water. Mimo, come on girl. So we've got our pump house. And again, this isn't really a pump that we use. I don't have the key with me, so I can't open it up. But we've got a pump in there, and it pumps water through an underground water pipe all the way up to the house. We have a selector switch on the house where you can basically select this well and this pump, or the other one, which is at the bottom. Now the well that we have at the bottom, all the way down there, is a much better quality well. The water in here has like a lot of iron in it, and whereas the water at the bottom there is the drinking water well. Now we've never actually drunk it before because we didn't get the well cleaned, and we didn't get the well cleaned last year, and we kind of like missed the boat with it again. It's difficult to find someone to do it. It's a hell of a job, and we kind of keep missing it. So it's not the end of the world. We use it for washing, we use it for for washing dishes and for everything else, and for bathing and stuff. But our drinking water comes from the village. So we've got a big Berkey water filter, which basically filters the water for us, and then we just fill it up from the fountain in the village. We take a couple of 30-litre water containers, and those last us about 2 weeks. So yeah. Right, let's get back on tour. So you can see it's all cut along here. I've got to go along the sides here with a strimmer. and just get rid of all of this tall grass. That's looking good. These are these catkin things that I'm talking about that are just all fluffy and like seed pods. So we've got that everywhere. All right, let's fast forward to Gina's vegetable garden, which is just down there. While we're walking down here, have a look. The Gardenia Mountains. Now this GoPro and its wide angle lens kind of flattens it out a bit. But it's, yeah, it's a beautiful view. Really beautiful view. We're in for some really stunning weather, I can't wait. Oh, I love the blue that that pool now puts on the wall, and you can see like the ripples of water. Looks amazing. Okay, so we're at Gina's veggie garden, and if you saw in our previous episode, this all just got planted up. The potatoes are ready to come out soon, so they're all like, well, they start to look terrible at that stage. But yeah, we've got all of our peppers in here. We did actually put a whole bunch of straw, hay and stuff down on them, but we've had some terrible winds and they've just blown everything away, so I think that's what's going on there. But yeah, everything's looking okay. Obviously the weather's really hot, so we're going to have to water them a lot more than normal. But yeah, it's looking good. Lettuces, broccoli, sweet potato, tomatoes, 3 different types of peppers. I can't even remember what I forgot. Potatoes, onions, so a whole bunch of stuff. And then if you're new to the channel, this big white dog, this is DogDog. He's the world famous OKportugal dog. Hello DogDog, you're a good boy. You're the best boy. And this is Mimosa, Mimo, and she's our little pup. And you won't see this often, but our car is actually shiny. Wow.
That's just a quick job.
All right, let's walk down this way. We've got a nicely mowed area that I've done all around the house, so you can see that's all nice and green. And then the rest of the field that just got harvested, you can see the color difference. But yeah, this is our olive grove. And yeah, some of the trees got pruned, but the majority didn't. We kind of missed the ball with them this year, but it's okay because we can do them next year. But as you can see, there's just an abundance of flowers and pollen and stuff all over them, which is great for the bees. You know, we've just lost all of our flowers and grass on the majority of the farm, but they still have a whole bunch of pollen and stuff here with these olive flowers, so that's good. Oh, and then we have this chair that Gina bought, and how's that? Just in the olive grove. And it gives you this amazing view of the mountain and everything. So yeah, so between the olive rows, I've left flowers. So there's still flowers, but you know, like between there, like the bees have still got stuff. So don't worry about the bees are going to be okay. We've got lots of areas where it doesn't get mowed, and there's still lots of natural wildflowers and things like that. Okay, so let's walk down. This is like our main road on the farm. I didn't mow here today because these flowers are so pretty, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Now our bottom field has been left. We haven't mowed it. We haven't turned it into hay bales or anything like that. I'm not entirely sure. I think Joaquin said that he was experimenting this year and he was going to do this earlier and he was going to do that field later. So I think he said something about June. So I don't know if it's happening in a few weeks or at the end of the next month. But yeah, we still have a whole bunch of grass. We still have a whole bunch of flowers for those bees. Another interesting thing about bees, or so I've been told, is that they forage in about a 5-kilometer circle or 5-kilometer radius. Now you imagine where I am standing here now and where the lake is in the background there, the big Marateka, that's 900 meters away. So, you know, the bees are going from here way past that point and in a circle. So it's not that they're staying on the farm, they're only eating these flowers, or not eating them, but, you know, harvesting the pollen and the nectar. So, you know, the flowers, or the bees are going to be all right. They've got the Gardenia Mountains in the background here, and those are a couple of k's away. And There's plenty of stuff there that they can forage on. So let's head on down. This is another water tank, and now that we've renovated the water tank next to the house, I would love to do this one. I'm not sure exactly what the dimensions on here are, but this would be a really good one to put some seating in, put some water in. We've got our well right here that we can basically pump water into that tank. It's got loads of pressure, as you can see, and this is a very deep well and it's really clean water. So yeah, this is going to be another project coming up soon, and won't that be amazing? Look at the views here. You know, you've got proper mountain views. You're basically sitting in the olive grove. You've got the forest in the background, looking on down to the campervan. So let's head on down to Bob the campervan. If you're new to the channel, Bob is our campervan, and we bought him when we decided that we were going to move to Portugal. It was going to be a lot more cost effective for us to put our dog and 2 cats inside Bob the campervan than it would have been to try and fly them over. You know, we could also take all of our stuff with us, and it was quite an adventure. So if you haven't checked that out, have a look at season 1. So season 1 of Portugal Farm Life, that's when we start our trek, basically, you know, from England all the way through France and Spain and into Portugal. And that's pretty much where the whole journey began. So do check it out. Okay, yeah, so let's have a look here. We've got an apple tree over here. We've got another whole sort of row here that's got vines dotted along it, and olive trees, and obviously, I mean, really tall grass. Loads of flowers mixed in with the grass. Some of these blades of grass are sort of shoulder height. That over there is a big quince tree, and yeah, I need to come down here with the mower and just mow the little lawn section around Bob again. But this is a very nice area to come and sit back and relax and just enjoy life. I'll put this down so I can have barbecues down here. And yeah, the lovely sounds of all the bugs and bees and birds. Let's get back on the trail. Now, I don't know how overgrown this is, and being a South African, I always wear silly shoes when I'm outside in the bush. Actually, that's not a right thing to say. I'm sure there's lots of South Africans who wear sensible footwear, but me, I don't. I never do. So yeah, and I still have both feet and all my toes, you know, so it's all good. Right, so now here we are by the beehives. I don't want to get too close because they are in full swing at the moment. But as you can see, there's bees going in and out. There's lots of activity. Yeah, I need to come down here with my bee suit, just open them up and make sure that their water containers are full of sugar water. And yeah, I'll be doing that shortly. But for now, let's have a walk around this field. This is one of my favorite fields on the farm. It's just got the best views and it's just lush. It's usually much greener than the rest of the farm, because if you look back at the farmhouse, that's about 10-12 meters higher than where we're standing now. And so because it's on a slope, and because we've got springs up there and the dam and we've got all sorts of stuff, a lot of water finds its way through into this bottom field here. And the whole year round it's a lot greener than the rest of the farm. You can see this field over here has been ploughed already, and it looks terrible. I know it looks terrible. I know that there's a lot of people on here and they say, oh, you know, no dig and you mustn't plough and you must, you know, all of that stuff. And yes, to a certain degree, I do agree with it. You know, before I moved to Portugal, I was, you know, watching all these different YouTube channels and getting all excited about, oh, you know, I can do this and I can do that. But the reality is, when you have lots and lots of land, in the summertime here, you have to basically keep the weeds down. If you don't keep the weeds down, you're going to get fined, or worse, you're going to have a fire and it's going to destroy your entire farm. And so one of the methods that they use here is they just basically plough everything. They plough everything into the soil, and it does grow back. It does grow back. You know, I've borne witness to that. You know, all of these fields were ploughed, and look at what they look like now, you know. In the summer, if you don't plough them and you just leave them, that is just going to turn into a giant pile of firelighter. You know, just put one little spark in there and you've got a serious problem in your hands. So although I don't really agree with ploughing to this degree, for the time being, while we're still learning, while our neighbours are helping us, I'm not going to say no, I'm not going to say don't do this. I'm going to sit back, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to find out what works, what doesn't work, and how we can adapt and change things, you know, in the future, so that we can have a farm that works for us and also, you know, helps to build healthy soil structure. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, let's carry on. So this field is awesome. We've got a little path that Gina used to walk. So she would walk the perimeters every single day with the dogs. She gets up quite early. I get up much later. And she would have a walk along the farm. But since she broke her leg, she hasn't really been doing it. So it's gotten overgrown. The dogs haven't been scent marking. And that means that we've had all sorts of animals that are getting braver and braver and have been coming closer and closer. So, yeah. Let's just have a little look around. I love this field. At the bottom of this field is a drainage ditch. As I said, we're on kind of a gentle slope, and the majority of the water, when it rains and stuff, ends down in this bottom area. It also pools up in this area, and we almost have like a bit of a lake in the winter time that builds up here. So, yeah, it's quite an interesting spot, this. You can hear lots of crickets. Like frogs even, I think. Yeah, so this was all full of water, and now it's dry. We're about to hit that dry part of the year. So we've still got some greenery going on, but not for long. So I'm going to head on through here in my appropriate footwear. Hopefully I won't run into any snakes or scorpions or centipedes. We have a mongoose living in these bushes. At least I think it lives in these bushes. We've put down a trail camera here at night time, and we've actually seen the mongoose running in and out of the bush. So I'm not 100% sure if that's why it's running in and out of the bush, or if it's just traveling through there. But I like to think that it lives there. Now it's quite a few hundred meters away from where the chickens live. And you know from a previous episode that our chickens got killed by a mongoose. So potentially it is this mongoose. But we also have another mongoose that lives in the forest over there. So I'm not sure. I mean, these mongoose have been living here for as long as we've had the farm. They've never given us a problem. So earlier on, when I said that Gina hasn't been walking around the perimeter and scent marking with the dogs, I think that could play a role in why the mongoose basically went from here a couple of hundred meters up and basically attacked the chickens. You know, they had been free ranging for about 1.5 years before all of this happened. No problems. We had mongoose running around, badgers, foxes, all sorts of stuff, wild pig. So interesting. You know, I think the dogs on a farm play a really important role, especially if you get them to walk around the boundaries and scent mark. Now this is very interesting. I don't know why I kept forgetting to film this, but this is a mutation. Now, one of our Facebook subscribers pointed out that this is called a fascination. Not the plant itself, but the actual plant itself is Viper's bluegloss, or in Australia I believe they call it Patterson's curse. And so the plant should look like this. It should have a thin stem and all of these purple flowers. But look at this. It's just this amazing mutated plant that's basically just sprung up. Look how thick that stem is. So yeah, so I believe they call it a fascination, and it's a viral, bacterial or genetic thing that basically messes up in the plant during its growth stage, and instead of growing a regular stem, it basically just mutates and becomes strange like this. Amazing, huh? So yeah, what an incredible thing. It's about waist high, so yeah. How cool is that? Look at these Little beetles all over it, enjoying life. I first spotted it about maybe 2 months ago. I couldn't believe it. It really stuck out in the field because it, you know, the grasses weren't as long, but there was this big waist-high thing sticking there. It looked like some kind of alien thing, but yeah, we soon found out that it's actually just a mutation. And it's nothing serious. It's not like we have radioactivity on the farm or anything. It's just, you know, it just happens. Sometimes when all of the cells are dividing in a young plant like that, there's some kind of an error in the genetics. It could be a bacterial thing or a viral thing, and you end up with something that looks like that, which is pretty crazy. I absolutely love doing this walk. You know, one of the things that was amazing during lockdown was being able to come down here and just walk, you know, and just feel like you have space around you, that you're not locked up, that you're not trapped. And yeah, that's been one of the most amazing things about this farm. I think some countries are going back into lockdowns again, so, you know, hopefully we won't. But if we do, you know, having all of this around us, having all this nature around us just makes a huge difference. And this over here is one of my absolute favorite olive trees on the farm. It's huge. Its trunk's so big I can't wrap my arms around it. And it must be really, really old. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got to have seen many centuries. What an incredible tree. What lovely shade. Such a huge difference. When I was standing out there and you're feeling it's like 27, 28 degrees, and now you stand in this cooling shade. And yeah, it's lovely. So let's head on back up. I need to come through here with like the lawnmower or the strimmer and just create this path again. You know, once again, I just want to point out all of this growth happening here. This now is shoulder height. If you look at me and you look at my shoulder and how tall this grass is. And, you know, every year these fields are getting ploughed. They're getting ploughed twice a year. So they get ploughed now, and then I believe they get ploughed again just before spring. I can't remember exactly. But they get ploughed now, or they get cut, they get baled, and then they get ploughed. And then after that, the grasses start to grow again. And as you can see, these grasses are super healthy. You know, people might say that ploughing it's destroying the soil, and you know, like it erodes and you're destroying the soil, you know, completely and everything. I don't see evidence of that here. What I'm seeing here is a very, very healthy field with lots of growth on, and something that we can't sustain throughout this summer as a field of grass, unless we were to pump all of the water out of our wells and out of our dam and basically waste a whole bunch of water keeping it green. And next year it's going to come back, and there's going to be lots and lots of, you know, green grass again. And so the cycle continues. So in my previous couple of videos where I've been strimming and I've been mowing and I've been doing all sorts of stuff, a lot of people have been saying, oh, you must get yourself a ride-on mower, oh, you must get yourself a tractor. And it's kind of easier said than done, because as you can imagine, when you move to a farm, there's a huge shopping list of things that you need, and you have to sort of prioritize things. We have a really good relationship with our neighbor who has a tractor. You know, he wants things from us like our grass and grazing land and stuff. And in return, he helps us out by using his tractor and his tools on the farm. So, you know, for us to go out and spend 5,000 to 10,000 on a tractor versus building a really good relationship with your neighbor, and he gets something that he needs, we get something that we need, you know, I think the way that we're doing it is better. You know, sure, in future I'd love to have a tractor, but you know, I'm still a newbie at this, and I'm still learning the ropes. And it's a really good way of building up a good relationship with your neighbors and learning how things are done in the traditional way, the way that they've been doing things here for possibly hundreds of years. So, you know, if I just went out and didn't take anyone's help, bought all my own stuff, I'd probably be making a lot more mistakes. So, yeah, and I'd love a ride-on mower. I saw some really nice ones at Brickomarsh for about 2,500, and I'd love to have one of those. But, you know, there's so many different things that need doing on the farm here. We've got renovations to do on the house. We've got all sorts of stuff. And you just got to weigh up what's important and what you're going to get the best value for. you know, I've got a good mower, it's self. So that last little bit there just cut off. I have absolutely no idea where the rest of the clips went, and I'm busy stitching everything together here in Adobe Premiere, busy editing it all so you guys can watch it. And when you do watch this video, if you have enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. It does help our channel. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our channel. We're going to have awesome content coming up. I know you're going to love it. And thank you very much for watching. We will see you next time, next Sunday at 11 o'clock GMT. Thank you for watching. Ciao.